Hello and welcome my dear students second term ونطق كلمات lessons 3 and 4 unit 9 فرقة موسيقية orchestra ch هنا ك orchestra موسيقار musician مراسل إذاعي radio reporter عاجز أو لديه إعاقة disabled حفلة موسيقية concert فخور proud يتعجب أو يتساءل wonder والماضي wondered يحضن hug والماضي hugged أعمى أو كفيف blind أصم deaf برايل للمكفوفين braille مهارات skills رجل فرنسي Frenchman مدهش أو مفاجئ surprising كرسي متحرك wheelchair يشمل أو يتضمن include والماضي included مقابلة شخصية interview إشارات المرور traffic lights درجات السلم stairs ينضم أو يلتحق joined موسيقى كلاسيكية classical music وسائل المواصلات العامة public transport أشياء objects يصرخ أو يصيح shouted يتخيل imagined مقدمة introduction مؤخرا أو حديثا recently صعوبة أو عائق difficulty قائمة أو لائحة list علاقة relationship بحذر أو بحرص carefully يبكي cry والماضي cried يقفز لأعلى jump it up يخمن guessed أحداث events مدونة إلكترونية blog جريدة newspaper irregular verbs يتعلم learned أو learned يقابل met يسقط fallen يؤذي أو يجرح hurt يختبئ hidden يطرق أو يدع leave left words and opposites خلف أو وراء behind أمام in front of دولي أو عالمي international محلي local شيق أو ممتع interesting ممل boring study these definitions الword الأساسي memorize a definition understand blind not able to see deaf not able to hear disabled, not able to use parts of the body in the way other people can. Cello, cello, a large wooden musical instrument with 4 strings that you hold between your knees to play. Clarinet, clarinet, a musical instrument that you play by blowing into it and pressing metal keys. Flute, a musical instrument that you play by blowing across a hole near one end. Hug, put your arms around someone and hold them closely, usually because you love them. Orchestra, a large group of musicians who play different instruments together. Hide, go to a place where you cannot be seen or found, or put something in a place where it cannot be seen or found. Musician, someone who is very good at playing music, usually as a job. Trombone, a large metal musical instrument that you play by blowing into it and moving a part in and out to make different sounds. Braille, a type of reading you can do with your hands. Trumpet, a metal musical instrument which you blow into with 3 buttons that you can press to make different sounds. Violin, a wooden musical instrument that you can play by moving a wooden bow across 4 strings. Cry, produce water from eyes or from your eyes, usually because you are sad, angry, or hurt. Radio reporter. Today I'm visiting a very special school in Cairo. This is a music school for girls. All the students study their normal subjects in the morning and then practice their instrument in the afternoon. Many of the students at this school join an orchestra called the An-Nur wal-Amal Chamber Orchestra. This orchestra plays concerts in Australia, Germany, China, and all around the world. What is most important about the school and the orchestra is that all the students here are blind. The orchestra plays international classical and Arabic music. To read the music using Braille, a type of reading you can do with your hands. Then they have to remember the music because they can't read and play at the same time. Let's go to meet some of the musicians. The An-Nur wal-Amal Chamber Orchestra is at school for blind girls in Cairo. Iman Badr is one of the musicians. She is able to play the violin very well. Iman Badr is one of the musicians. She is able to play the violin very well. She started playing when she was 6. Iman became blind when she was 2 years old. She likes playing in the orchestra because she loves music and being with her friends. Recently, she visited Oman and France with the orchestra. I think the orchestra is amazing. It must be very difficult to read music with your hands and then remember it. I would like to go to one of their concerts. By Louisa May Alcott. Meg, Beth, and Amy were sewing. Meg, Beth, and Amy were sewing when Joe came into the room with a newspaper. She sat down and started to read it. Anything interesting? Asked Mid. Asked Mick. Oh, on the story, Joe replied. What's it called? Asked Beth. She wondered why Joe was hiding behind the newspaper. The Rival Painters, said Joe. Why don't you read it to us? Asked Emmy. Joe started to read it very quickly. The girl listened carefully. The story was very sad. I liked it, said Meg at the end. She was crying a little. Isn't it strange that the characters are called two of our favorite names? Beth saw Joe's face. Who wrote the story? She asked. Joe jumped up, threw the paper down, and said, Your sister. You? Shouted Meg. It's very good, said Emmy. I knew it. Oh, I am so proud, said Beth, hugging her sister. Video script. Narrator. Can you sing? Do you know to dance? Perhaps you can act. But are you able to sing and act at the same time? Actors who appear in opera can do all of these things. An opera is a type of play in which the actors sing and sometimes dance. There is also lots of music. People can watch an opera in a special theater called an opera house, like this famous one in Sydney. There are many famous operas such as Carmen, The Barber of Seville, Pavel, and Tosca. Opera singers such as Maria Callas, Placido Domingo, and Luciano Pavarotti are able to sing really well. Giuseppe Verdi was an Italian who wrote some important operas in the 19th century. One of his most famous operas is called Aida. Aida is set in ancient Egypt. It's about a soldier who loves a princess. It was first performed at the Opera House in Cairo in 1871. At this time, this opera house was the biggest in Africa and one of the most important opera houses in the world. A fire in 1971, but a new opera house opened in 1988. It's called the Cairo Opera House. This is a beautiful building on El-Jawady Island. Thousands of people come here every year to watch operas and other performances such as ballet or music. It is silent. Such as ballet or music. And the prepositions. الشيء الأكثر صعوبة عن. The most difficult thing about. على الأرض أو في الشارع. On the floor or on the street. شخص على كرسي متحرك. A person in a wheelchair. يكون عضواً في الفرقة الموسيقية. Be in the orchestra. يدون ملاحظات make notes. مميز بخصوص special about. أوركسترا جمعية النور والأمل. النور والأمل chamber orchestra. يقضي وقتا طويلا. spend a long time. يتبادل الأدوار. swap roles. مقدمة لي an introduction to. في النهاية at the end. لديه علاقة طيبة أو جيدة have a good relationship. قائمة من a list of. يصبح كفيفا become blind. بالطريقة in the way. مدرسة بنات a school for girls. يتدرب على الآلات الموسيقية practice the instruments or practice instruments. يقرأ النوتة الموسيقية read the music. يطرح شيئا أرضا throw down. يصيح أو يصرخ فيه shout at. في وسائل المواصلات العامة on public transport. Thanks a lot.